Alright, I'm here today to get started on this septic system for this brand new house. So, I just finished preparing the site for it yesterday, and I'm going to have that be its own video because that video was getting pretty long. So I'm pretty much doing like a partially above ground system here. So I had to build up, this is where the leach field is going, and I had to build up this spot quite a bit and dig some drainage ditches along the sides to keep the water table down because this spot is pretty wet. So that's and this is still too muddy here to do the leach field, but I'm going to get the tank set today, or at least get the hole dug for the tank, and then that can be delivered tomorrow. So the original plan was to come out right here with the septic, but that hole is too low. The mason just kind of randomly stuck that in there. And two, coming out that wall with the septic system will take up quite a bit more room because the tank I think has to be 12 feet from the house, so that'd put the tank right about there, and then the field would have to be down further. So instead the builder suggested, and I think he's doing the plumbing as well, have the septic come out this wall instead, so then I can come out and stick the tank probably right about here, and that would give me quite a bit more room for the leach field because I'm supposed to fit the primary and the reserve in this spot, and there's enough space there to do it, but there wouldn't be if I was coming out this wall. And they don't make you build the reserves, but they make you design it and make sure you have room for it. So alright, so let's just take a look inside quick at what we have in here for plumbing. Alright, so yeah, they didn't do anything yet. So this is just there's all the plumbing for the house, and there's nothing, even the furthest thing is way back here dropping down into it. So I can pretty much come out this wall anywhere I want. And this pipe right here, that's just for the furnace, for a drain for the propane furnace, but that's no big deal. Alright, so let me get started digging for the septic tank. Alright, I just finished digging this hole for the septic tank. So this is scheduled to be delivered tomorrow. So, that little bit of, I put the gravel down in there. That's a lot easier to level the gravel out than the mud. Plus, it's nice to have some gravel under the tank. So, I use the level, but that little bit of water that's down in that hole makes it super easy to see where level is. Because you can kind of tell the water is all sitting level, and it's about 1 inch lower than my gravel. Here's where it's coming out of the house, and I'm going to be going right into the side of the tank, and then the outlet will go out towards the leach field there. So this hole ended up being bigger than I wanted it to be because of some rocks that I found in there. But those were pretty nice rocks, and I think I'll be able to use them on some landscaping on this project. So that wasn't really a bad thing to find those. And hopefully this hole isn't completely full of water tomorrow. It's probably going to be, so I should bring a pump. Get it, or?
I can't go in the tank because I can't get back out.
Want me to go in? I'll go in.
That's up to you.
Alright, so you're saying since we have to use this side inlet,
Yeah.
we gotta move this thing, the backhoe. Here, I got it.
Yep.
To the side.
Right.
Okay.
Young man pulled himself right out of the hole.
I can't do that.
Alright, so I just finished setting that septic tank. So that went nice and smoothly, and I got the spot ready for the rest of the work. So this is where it's coming out of the house right here, and there's my pipes to do it. Now, it's very important that this section of pipe be pitched at 1/4 inch of drop per foot. I didn't put any levels or anything on it yet, but I just kind of eyeballed it. So, but that's probably about right. I'll check it with the laser before I go and install this. So what I'll do is I'll measure the distance from the tank to the house. It's probably 14 feet or so. And then just do the math, figure out how much lower it needs to be on that wall. And then I'll just use the hammer drill to put the hole in. And then it will be real easy to put this pipe in. So the leach field is going out this direction here. So I filled around this tank where the inlet and outlet is with gravel, because it's very important that it doesn't settle under the pipe, because if it does, especially on the inlet, what can happen is you'll get like a belly in the pipe where there's always water trapped, and that can be a big problem because it can freeze in the wintertime or clog up. So you really don't want to have that. You really want to make sure, you know, everything that's under that gravel was on disturbed ground, so it shouldn't be settling. And then the gravel, that type of gravel, doesn't need to be compacted. You just pretty much put it down and it's level, or it's packed. And I'm not installing all these pipes yet because the leach field just got built, and it's really muddy over here still. And for me to try to do this work in here now would be so much more difficult because of this mud. So this really needs to dry up. Hopefully we have some warmer, drier weather soon, and this should be all right. So I got the whole site looking pretty good. You know, there's no real piles of dirt. I left piles where I'm going to need them to fill on top of the pipes once they're installed, so that's good. But the rest of it is smoothed out. Now, I found these nice rocks when I was digging the tank, so I want to do some probably landscaping with these because they're really big, nice flat rocks. So here's a big one, there's another big one there, a couple small ones, and then another big flat one right there. I may do something on the front porch. You know, these could be like the steps or something if they were partially buried. I'll talk to the homeowner and maybe try to come up with a plan. Alright, so while this is drying up, I'm going to bring my equipment back to the other job where I'm working on that bridge, because I have all the bridge decking is finished. The sawmill just called me and told me it was ready, so I'm going to at least take the skid steer out of here and use that for moving those boards around because they're pretty heavy. The septic tank is 14 feet away from the building. It's very important that this section of pipes be pitched at 1/4 of an inch per foot. 14 times 0.25. Outlet of the house needs to be 3.5 inches higher than the tank. Alright, so now this should be the height. Alright, so that's on grade right there. Good. Very important. I have a 4-foot level here, so that means when this level is level, I should have an inch gap right here. And that's level right there. So I think we got this perfect. I'm back here today to finish this leach field. So it's been a few weeks since I've been here, so everything's gotten a chance to dry up, and it's pretty dry now. Now, it did just rain pretty hard 2 days ago, so that's why the ground's a little wet. But before that rain we had, it hadn't rained in a while, so I think deep down this is dry. Now, there's still plenty of water running through these drainage trenches, but hopefully the water table has, the area where I'm working, I think is going to be plenty dry, so doing this shouldn't be hard now. So the first thing I got to do is get these rocks out of the way that I dug up when I dug for the septic tank. Now, they're pretty big and flat. I want to set these like in front of the porch for like the landing for the stairs or something, because the porch is built, but nothing is they're still using a ladder, so I don't know if they want to come up the side or on the front. I mean, the driveway is like that, but either way, those rocks could be pretty nice here. So I'm going to push for that. I got to talk to the homeowner on that, though. But I just got to get them out of the way for now. But they supposedly, this house is going to be ready to live in, they said, this week. I looked inside. It looks like it's still got quite a bit of work to go, but I don't want to be the one holding it up because the septic's not done. So I'm here. This shouldn't take too long, probably a day or two to get this fueled in. I mean, the tank, that's already set. So I'm going to come out of the, coming out of the tank right there. I'll put the D box probably as close as I can, and then I'll have my 4 sets of laterals going out right there. So, all right, let's get to work. Alright, I came here earlier this morning to put in this leach field. I had one question for the engineer, so I called her and she came out here because she hasn't been here since before we've done anything, you know, before we even cleared or did any, so she hasn't seen the site. So when she got here, she made a few little changes to the plan, so I wasn't able to do the field today. So the changes are, she wants some more material brought in on top of this, more of an improved septic fill material. This, she said, this stuff was a little bit, had too much clay in it, so you know, that's not a big deal. And the code is you can't have the septic field within 20 feet of an open trench. So this is an open trench and the field was going to go right there. So to deal with that, what we're going to do is we're going to close up this trench, meaning we put some perforated pipe in there and gravel and then cover it up, so it will still be carrying away water, but it won't be an open trench like this, and it will look better. And then that way then the septic can be closer to it. It still can't be right on the side of it, but it can be closer. So then what I'll do is I'll kind of move the septic field over to the left a little past the excavator to make it work in here. So what I did instead today was I used these rocks that I had dug out when I dug for the septic tank, and I just did these stairs with them. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. The customer hasn't seen it yet, but hopefully she likes it. all set here to start digging for these laterals for this leach field. So we're coming out of the tank right here. I have to do the D box pretty close to the tank because we're tight on room here. So there's the D box right there. So there is a set of 4 laterals that have to be dug 2 feet wide, which will be filled with gravel, and then the 4-inch perforated pipe. And the laterals are 6 feet on center, and they are 46 feet long. And they are pitched very slightly. I think it's like 1/64th or 1/32nd to 1/64th of an inch of drop per foot. I gotta double check the plans though, but that's usually standard. So things that came into play on this one, these laterals cannot be within 15 feet of a closed ditch. So this is a closed drainage ditch here to get rid of groundwater, so that was kind of limiting my size here. But you know, I'm over 15 feet away from it on every side, so this should be fine. I just finished putting in this leach field. It's ready to be inspected by the Board of Health now. So this is how they want to see it. They want to be able to see the septic tank. There's the inlet there. Here's the outlet of the septic tank. And there's the D box. So all that's uncovered. And I left a pile of dirt. That way I can cover it back up easily once they look at it. And then they want to see the ends of every lateral. So I left them all open so you could see them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then, I left extra fabric and extra dirt here. That way they can just be easily covered up once it's inspected. So this was a little bit of a tricky septic system to do here. And I'm a drop worried about this inspection because it was just tight on space. There's rules about how far it can be away from all kinds of things, and there just wasn't enough space here because the property line, there's the property line right there. So I'm right up on that. I had to put in these trenches to keep the groundwater away from the septic, and then I had to raise the area up quite a bit. Now the plans kind of showed the septic more behind the house, but that didn't really work in real life because it had to be the house had to have that walkout basement. And I couldn't have, the septic field would have been too high to put it right there. So it really had to go in this corner. And it is built up quite a bit. I was pretty worried about, this field getting saturated with groundwater. Here's the trenches I dug to dry up the site are still, a lot of water's flowing through them. So this one's going to stay like this. And here's the pipes that keep the area. That's water that I'm keeping out of the leach field. And you see those pipes a lot of water's flowing through them as well. So. Alright, I'm back here today. The engineer who designed this just came out recently and inspected it and is making me do one little change here. So the issue is the leach field is too close to the house. Now I've done quite a few septics before, but I've never had that problem before because really they've never had to be, I'm so tight on room here because just past that trench is the property line and back that way is the septic couldn't really go there either, so it had to be tight into the house like this. So really 20 feet from the absorption field, and they're measuring corner to corner and getting 15 feet, so it's like, well, either way they're making me, so this lateral all the way to the left here, pretty much what they're making me abandon this lateral and add one more down that way past the excavator. So we're not going to be using that one. So this will be the first one, second, third, and then the fourth one will be right here. Alright, so I'm going to get to work. I should have this done in a couple hours. this lateral here we're abandoning. So this pipe here has to go into there. So dig out that and dig out quite a bit of that section right there. Alright, so this is what I did to the D-box here. So that lateral that was going in the middle is now going on the side there. And the new lateral is coming out of that spot. And it's going to be going out that direction. And this old lateral that I was told to abandon, it's not hooked up. I just have it jammed up against that thing in there, but in the unlikely event you'd ever want to hook that back up, it wouldn't be too hard to do. So let me explain what's going on here. This job just kind of turned into a nightmare job. So what happened? You guys just watched the video, but it's been a couple weeks since I've been here, so I'll explain what's happened so far. So this leach field here, it wasn't an easy thing to do. It was tight on space in every direction because I had to be a certain distance from the house, in a certain distance from these curtain drains, and just right on the other side of these curtain drains is the property line, so I couldn't go there. Going too far, you know, there's a problem every direction. I mean, this direction just kind of turns into rock and it drops way off, so the septic really couldn't go over there. And then I couldn't really put it over here because this house has a walkout basement, and the septic field has to be a raised field, and I can't have the ground higher right there than the level of these doors. So it had to be in this spot right here. And that's fine. That's where the plans sort of showed it. Now, I said before I even did the field, I said, look, there's barely room here to do this. I want to turn the field the other, it's still the same thing, 4 laterals. I want to turn them the other direction so it fits, in the logistics of hooking up the pipes from the D-box will be a lot simpler. And the engineer, the lady who designed it, came out and looked at it, said that was alright. She said just truck in some more septic fill on top of what's here and then do it. So I did it. I did all the work, had it in, all 4 laterals. She came out and inspected it again and said, well, it's alright, but the one lateral all the way on this side, right in the middle of the screen here, is a little too close to the basement. Measuring corner to corner, it's like 17 feet, and it's supposed to be 20. And I'm like, well, you know, it's kind of corner to corner. It's not like it's side by side where it matters. But I'm like, all right, no big deal. She said just add another 5th lateral on that far side over there and unhook this lateral and abandon it. I said, okay, whatever. That's not a big deal. I can do that. So then I did that. Then she came back out again after that was done and pretty much said the whole thing needs to be redone and pulled out. And I'm pretty annoyed with this lady at this point because, I mean, she's saying it like it's easy. Look, this is a lot of work because she says she doesn't like the dirt that's here or something. So I got to take all this dirt away, try to separate out the septic fill I had bought, and then truck in a bunch more septic fill here. So that's why I brought my big excavator here that will make much quicker work of moving that much material. So what I got to do is dig this whole area down. I guess I got to truck away the dirt she doesn't like. Let's go look at that dirt. So I dug this test hole here when we were here inspecting everything. So this is the top of one of the laterals right there because they were curious on depths of things. and nitpicking every little detail. All right, so this is the deep test we dug here. Okay, so you can see the height of the lateral right there. So what we have here, this is septic fill that had been trucked in here, and it's like approved septic fill. And, you know, it's kind of like a crumbly dirt with some rocks in it, and a little bit sandy. Then under that, this is what she doesn't like. This is dirt that was here used, and let's see, I'm trying to get a piece of it off. And she said she doesn't think it's gonna perk well. I said, well, why don't we actually perk it? So I don't know, she wouldn't go for that. Then underneath that, this is the existing ground level right here. So what I'm supposed to do is remove this layer of dirt right here and get it down to this level here, and then truck in a bunch of material, fill on top of the whole site, and redo the whole field. And what we're going to do is probably end up turning the whole field sideways again and adding more laterals, shorter ones, to fit it in this confined space. All right, so let me get started. Alright, so I just finished stripping all the dirt off of this back down to the original grade, like the Board of Health and the engineer wanted. So they redesigned the system to actually fit in this spot now. So instead of having 4 laterals 46 feet long, there's now 6 at, I think they said 31 feet long. They're drawing up the new plans, which that's good because it actually fits in this spot. So the plan is now, so here is the outlet of the tank, and the D box is going to go over in this corner here. This is the approved septic fill, and we're going to get a little more trucked in, probably 2 more loads. So the D box is going to go in this corner right about here. And then we have all the new laterals marked out, which are going to go sideways. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And they only want us down 6 inches into this original dirt. So we already started here digging out this trench. Alright, so let's get this finished up. Hopefully we can get this done in a couple days. Alright, so we just finished this up last night, reinstalling this leach field. So the engineer came early this morning and looked at it, said it looked completely fine, and now we got the Board of Health is supposed to come out here to inspect it. And hopefully they're happy with it too. I mean, this is what they told us to do, so I can't see why they'd have any problems with it. So once that's inspected, then this can be backfilled, and really that's the last thing on this site is the septic system. And then other than that, this house is ready to be lived in. So this is the D box here. So these things here are called speed levelers. So what they do, you put them in, and then you can turn this to adjust the height of the water inlet. Alright, the idea with these speed levelers is you put these in here and you can turn them to adjust the height of the water, because you want all the laterals to be taking water somewhat evenly. So you see right now water's flowing in this one and this one, but not this one, or this one. So what I'll do is I'll turn these two up so it's right at the water level. So right there, and all right, now they're all just above the water level. Let's add some more water. All right, everyone is just barely spilling over, so I'm good with this. All right, so the Board of Health was just here, and they were very happy with this, so they told me to backfill. I'm at the point where I'm calling this job done, and I don't mean the septic, I mean the whole job. This site was interesting here because everything from going from woods to a livable house I did here and filmed all of it. So from putting in the driveway to the underground electric service to digging the foundation, clearing the building site, doing the drains around the site, the septic system, the well line, the propane tank, and everything else here to get this from woods to a house, I did and filmed. So it's great to finally call this done. Now, a little more landscaping could be done here. I still have that pile of dirt over there to kind of spread out. I'm just going to kind of lose it around the house and fill in. I mean, it's not even really anything worth filming. I mean, I was thinking about bringing my screener here and screening it, but it's there's really not much rock in that. Plus, it's got, so the screen in it wouldn't really benefit it that much. So yeah, so as far as the septic, I just finished this today, and I finished I just dressed up the driveway a little bit there with some extra gravel, so that looks nice. This septic, this could have gone a drop smoother, but I easily could have edited this video to make it look like it went perfectly smooth the first time. I'm not doing that because I know a lot of people probably watch these videos almost as like training, and the realness of these situations is sometimes things don't always go perfectly, and throwing blame around or anything else just doesn't really help anything. So it got handled, a little bit of time got wasted, but no big deal. So I'll just take care of that pile of dirt quick, and then I'll bring my equipment home. So expect a repair video for this Bobcat real soon. The one drive motor. I mean, the thing still drives around right now, but it's pretty much not really usable. The one motor has no power whatsoever, and this red hydraulic light keeps coming on and beeping and shutting off the engine. So I'm 95% sure the drive motor's bad. So I got to take that apart, and I called Bobcat. They wanted $4,000 for it. So I guess the cheapest way to deal with that is usually to take it off and have it rebuilt. Alright, so this house is ready to be moved in now. That was pretty much the last thing holding it up. Everything else is done on the inside except for minor little stuff like furniture, but all the building, all the major work is done here. And a few people mentioned when I was working here during the winter, there was a few days where tracks were freezing up and I was dealing with freezing weather that made things a lot harder. Now, if I didn't struggle through those few days in early winter when we had some really cold weather, this house would be a lot further I mean, it probably wouldn't even be close to done right now, because I got digging this foundation. If that hadn't gotten dug when it did, this house would have been back, a few months. They'd still be working on it right now. So it was worth dealing with that cold weather over the winter to get this thing ready, because then the builders were able to do all the work on the house and get it finished up over the winter, because the cold didn't affect a lot of their stuff.